Hi guys, welcome to the module executing a command on multiple devices using Python Paramiko module. So far we have always dealt with a single devices, but in production you may be having hundreds of devices to execute. Each may be having different connection details like port, host IP address, username and password. So in this module, we will see how to take backup on multiple devices and we will see how to execute different commands in different devices. So first, let us create an inventory of devices in the form of JSON. JSON is a JavaScript object notation. It is a lightweight data interchange format. It is commonly used for transmitting data in web application. It is similar to dictionaries in Python. It has key value pairs and it is easy to work with. So I am going to use JSON format to store my inventory. I have stored this Python program in the demo folder in my desktop. I am going to create one JSON file named inventory and I am going to give the extension of JSON and I am going to open this file. This is the JSON format. It's a key value pair, so we have to give the key. I'm going to name my first device as router 1 and its host is IP address 172.18.20.1 and the port number is 22. The username is Cisco. Password is also Cisco. In production, you may be having a different device, but here for understanding, I am going to use the same device, but I am going to name it the second device as router 2 and remaining connection details are same. Here you have to give the comma, forgotten. You have created a JSON file. Don't know whether it is valid or not. To check whether it is valid or not, we can go to online and you can search in Google like JSON online validator. You can find some site and you can validate your JSON script. This is one such site. I'm going to check my JSON validity. Here it is giving result like valid JSON. So our JSON is correct. So we have multiple devices. So this part will be same for different devices. So I'm going to open my JSON outside this one. I'm going to name this as JSON file and I'm going to create a variable called inventories and I am going to pass it as JSON. This file will be read and it will be passed as JSON and it will be stored in inventories. Now our inventories are loaded. Now it will be having two different devices, so I am going to use a for each function using the inventories. Now I will get the first device in the inventory. Now I am going to define this parameter here. Instead of getting input from this file, I am going to load it from inventory file. I have given it as host. Then again, port number is port. The username, this is password. Now we got our connection details. Now I will bring this try catch function inside our for loop, so it will be executed for each inventory details. Now we will check whether for each connections it is showing connection successful or not. Sorry, we have forgot to remove that first connection details. I will comment out these statements. We have, the issue is we have used the JSON function, but we have not imported the module. Let import the module. For first device connection is successful. For second device is also connection is successful. Now we will back up the configuration for each devices. For each file, we will read this name, and with this name we'll put hyphen and we'll put config and .txt, and we will write the configuration in that file. I'm going to create a file name to save the running configuration. I'm going to use this inventory, the name. For concatenation of string, we have to use a plus symbol. And I'm going to put hyphen config backup config .txt. This will be going to be file name. For router 1, it will be router 1 hyphen backup will put backup hyphen config.txt. For router 2, it will be router 2 hyphen backup hyphen config.txt. Now we will open this file. We will open it in write mode as output file. And we will store the configuration here. Before that, we will execute and we'll get the output for the show running configuration. We are going to execute a command called show running info running configuration. And here we are going to here we will use exe command only, since it is a single command. It will be better to use a single exe function instead of going through that interactive shell. Std out will be a single line, so we have to read. Okay, we will create one line function and we'll parse it with a read line function. So for each line will be stored here. We have opened the file now. We will create one for each loop here. We will write it to this output file. This is a context manager with, so the file is opened, it will be automatically closed when it is exiting from this. So no need to close this file explicitly. Let's run this program. It is executed for both of the inventories. Let's see the configuration. Okay, both configuration files are created and configuration backup is successful for both of the devices. Like that you can create inventory for hundreds of devices. Here we have executed a single command on a multiple devices. We will, in some cases we may be required to execute a different command on different devices. In that case we will redefine our inventory with one more variable called commands. Okay, in this program we will try to change the router host name. For router 1 we will change it to router 1 and router 2 host name we will change it to router 2. Config t and host name, you make it as router 1. After that I will save. For these devices I will make this as router. You should not forget to use a comma. If required you can use a JSON validator to validate your program. I am going to validate my program. My JSON is valid. Okay, in this we will clean up this code. We got the connection detail, and once connection is successful we will get the commands list. Okay, now this is a multiple commands, so we'll use an interactive shell. To open interactive shell you have to use an invoke shell function. For each commands this shell we will invoke send function. We will send, and for garage return we will use slash underscore n. Then we'll store this in our output variable, and we'll use receive function with 1024 bytes to receive the data, and we'll print this out. We already imported time function. We will use sleep function. Now we will try to execute this program. It is executed on first router and second router also it is executed.